Welcome back to the most tired podcast on the internet. I am your co-host, MegaRedsFan, here with my co-host.
Palebreadpainter here.
And neither of us decided to sleep last night, so we are both tired. Well, I took a nap
Yep.
this afternoon, but I'm still tired.
See, I have been up since whenever I've woken up from the other day.
Yeah,
Too busy gaming and making games,
right.
How it be?
Do you want to talk about that first, I guess, since we kind of already segued into it?
Yeah. So as you know, I've been making a little game.
I do know.
Like it's been interesting. Like just trying to figure out how different things work. Because it's just you kind of have to think of things in a really different way than you're used to, because it just doesn't make sense all the way. There's a lot that you don't think of when playing a game.
Yeah.
Like with opening like a treasure chest or something. You don't think about the fact that you press a button, then it instigates a text box, and then it has to change its state to a new graphical image. You just kind of assume that already happens. Like, it's kind of crazy to think
No, I
about all
always
the...
think about that when I open chests in video games.
Oh, of course.
That's
of
like the
course.
first thing that comes to my mind when I open things up.
Yeah, of course, of course.
Yeah.
The first thing you think about is the order of operations with the chest. Yay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Of course, of course.
But that's just me. I'm kind of quirky like that. So.
Dude, you're just like so quirky, man.
Yep.
Like lately, I've been having difficulties trying to make it so like, you know how in like video games you can go up to like random objects like and you'll interact with it and it's like, oh, this is a bookcase, or like, oh, there's a book about blah blah blah. I was having a lot of troubles trying to get like a little text box to show up just to exist,
Right.
like flesh out the world, and especially having difficulties having it so it changes dialogue from the first time you talk to it versus the second. That was such a pain. That took like 2.5 hours of like fiddling around with stuff trying to figure out how to make that work. But it's been fun. It's been interesting. Like, I don't know. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I can't wait until I finish with my little trial game
Mm-hmm.
and like get all the mechanics together and working and see how it actually plays through in the end. See if it's actually coherent in any way.
Right.
Like, although I definitely need help with like story.
Oh.
I have no idea where to go with like my little trial game.
With your trial, you want me to help with a trial game?
You can if you want to.
Okay.
Like, I don't want to waste your time with that if you're busy with
too much time.
All right, come up with a total B plot RPG story, and we'll.
So you start in a bedroom. You wake up. It's the year 2032. Your name is Carlos. You run a local underground bar fighting ring. That takes place underneath a bar somewhere, wherever you live. In Chicago. You live in Chicago, which is actually called New Chicago because old Chicago fell during the War of 2022. Everyone knows this. This is kind of known lore.
Yeah.
Anyways, that was actually the 10th World War, I think. About five or six more happened before this, but
oh my god, is there one World War every year?
yeah, it's kind of an event they have. It's kind of fun. It's like the Olympics, but a lot more people die.
Of course.
Anyways, so yeah, you run a bar fighting ring, and there's a bunch of hot ladies, and they fight for you. It's like the brothel game we played.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. I was like,
but it's better because I think about my story and how cohesive it is. Get wrecked on.
Yeah. God, that game was something else. It was like trying to have lore, but trying to have a dating sim, but also trying to have game mechanics, but they didn't work very well.
Yeah. And it implied a lot about the story and did not explain anything, which implying is okay, if you don't want to if you don't want to spell everything out for the player or viewer or whatever. but also you
Yeah.
want to spell some things out so they're not just completely lost in this world you're
Yeah.
building.
You
So
want them to understand what you're actually doing.
yeah,
Like I
that
still
game.
don't think I'm sure what the role of the main character was in that game.
He
Like
was
I
uh yeah, good
like
point. I don't either.
at first I thought he was a mercenary. Then for a little while I thought he was like a bouncer. Um
He's like the general manager, I think, right?
I
But then I thought that Milf Girl was the general manager.
she is. She manages all the girls and you help her with that because
Yeah, it's like
yeah, like that game is a total mystery. All I remember is that like I dissed them at the end and made all of them hate us.
yeah, I remember that. That was funny.
Like it was just the best. It was the funniest option. It's like I don't care about any of these dumb horrors. It's like oh
Yeah,
my god.
yeah, I don't care about any of these whores. Like, oh my, oh that's wow.
Yeah,
Why are you in this business if like it's
and
all
then
about whatever? Yeah,
you just see each like dialogue. It's like this person has lost interest, lowered
yeah.
affection rate.
Every
Like,
single girl's like they've lost interest.
yeah,
It's so
and then you
funny.
see a bunch of minus signs,
Uh
subtracting
huh.
signs all over the screen. It's like oh my god. It
That was
was
really funny.
that game was a blast for
Hmm.
different reasons.
It started out so strong too, and then it just fell off.
Yes. It like that the start of that game was crazy. Like, oh my goodness.
That game still makes me feel dirty. That was.
Yeah. That
I think
I
that
think
game
it's
was
still on
made
my
RPG Maker. Sorry.
it very well might have been actually. Like
Yeah.
it might have been, yeah. Um but yeah, it made me feel very dirty as well. I think I still have it on my desktop somewhere
Hmm.
amongst the rest of the random crap.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It
Oh
was
man.
so okay. Yeah,
Isn't that
you.
game doesn't it cost money now?
It's like
Like isn't the
thirty
full version
dollars.
out?
Yeah, it's not worth $30.
Jesus.
We played the demo for free, which was a really long demo, might I add. Either that or we're
Yeah.
just bad at the game, which is also probably true because we had to find a. It took us like 20 minutes to find a police car to keep playing the game.
Oh my god, I swear, like that moment is what made me think
Yeah.
like that is the moment I remember most is the fact that it took forever
It,
to find the NPC they told us to find. It's like I talked to every single
yeah. It
NPC.
took me watching a playthrough and actively like trying to talk you through what I'm watching, and you trying
Hmm.
to actually find where you're going. It was awful.
Yeah. Like
And
I'm not bad at RPGs or anything. Like I'm
it
pretty
was
good at them.
it was in the furthest corner of the map and like the very last
Yeah.
NPC on that side. And it's like, you
And
couldn't put him a little closer.
I think you had to talk to him like several times before he actually says the important stuff as well, or
Yeah,
something like that. Like he just says nothing that alludes to the fact he's important until like the second or third time. It's like what
it's
for?
awful. It's so
It's
funny. Yeah, it's like $30, and I'm like, this game is not worth thirty
God.
dollars.
You know, maybe there's something we're missing. Maybe like they updated it and it's like, oh wow, we actually have a real story now, not just tits galore.
I mean, even so, it's still like $30. That's,
Yeah,
I mean, like,
that
especially
that
after
was.
the experience we had with the demo, where it's like
Mhm.
broken and the story is really bad, or like not bad, but it's well, it's not good.
Like that's
But
as much as Security Breach, and people didn't think that game was worth that much.
yeah,
Like, oh, I
like
can't imagine spending that much money on that game.
what is
Like,
it like?
$10 tops.
Yeah, I was about to say like 15.
Yeah, 10 to 15. That, like, oh, $30 is not. That's not it. Oh, jeez. But thank you for coming up with a quick
There it
story
is.
for my
Oh, it's
RPG.
$20. I overstated. I thought it was. I could have swore it was 30.
They might have lowered the price,
True.
honestly. Like realizing it's like, oh, this is too expensive. Let's like not.
No, okay.
Goodness.
It's just a different character.
But oh, so yeah. I will admit making an RPG is a bit difficult, and there is a lot you have to like manage. But man, I don't know. I don't think they managed any of it. I
It
can't fault them
was
for the map designs though. Designing the maps is actually a pain. It's kind of, if you're not like super creative or like really good at design in the first place, you're not gonna make a very good map.
right.
Like it's if I
Whoa,
showed you,
whoa. Sorry. I was trying to find the price, and then I started playing an ad for it, and it was very inappropriate.
no.
Sorry.
But at some point, I need to show you the maps I've made for this like little RPG thing. Like they are
Right.
not good maps.
Yeah.
Like there are houses with no doors. They have windows, but they just look like big giant rectangles. Like it's wild.
Yeah, because you have to do like all the pixel art, right? Or,
Um.
or you have to
So
find pictures, I guess, with RPG Maker.
it's like building in Minecraft but flat. You know, like all you have to do is like with single tiles. So they are square, but like
Yeah.
you have to, you know, just use these random tiles and try to like put them together in a way that makes them look good and fit the aesthetic. Like so it doesn't look janky. And it's kind of difficult. You
Right.
know, you got to know how to. You have to have a good aesthetic, and that's just that's not my forte at all.
So I'm
Like,
gonna yeah, that's that yeah. And that's why I thought about it earlier before you kind of got into this pit of making the journey to Colorado, which is the name of the game, by the way.
oh yeah,
Printed
Road
um
to Colorado.
the
Yep.
road to Colorado, the journey to Colorado. It fluctuates, you know. It used to be the I wanted to call it the arduous road to Colorado, but then that was just kind of
Yeah, I
long.
remember that. Yeah.
It was going to be like the long road to Colorado,
see,
and we've jumped around a lot.
see, the title explains itself. The title
Yeah,
was both arduous and explaining the game.
yeah.
Oh man.
So what was I trying to say? I forgot. Crap. Okay, well, I'll bounce back to that in a second because I was on Steam yesterday, something like that, and I saw a game that said like Palebreadpainter recommends this game, and I didn't. I guess I didn't read recommends because I thought it said Palebreadpainter has made this game. I was like, what? And so
That's
I read it
hilarious.
like 4 times. Like Palebreadpainter has. Okay, oh, Palebreadpainter recommends this game. I think it said Palebreadpainter made this game. I was like, what?
You know,
Yeah,
I've already made like so many games already. You know, like some real
yeah. It
famous
was.
ones. You know,
Oh, that's what I
that's
was saying.
hilarious.
Yeah, it was really. I was really confused for a second, but then I
Was it
caught
Lily's
on.
Well?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's definitely the style of game that I love, and it's a style of game that I kind of want to make as well.
Hmm.
If I ever, I might have to use a different game engine for that kind of thing though, as it's not really battling. But that is also a kind of game that I would love to make.
Yeah.
So I can see why you would think, oh, wait, this is Nick's style. Wait a minute, what?
um, what was I saying? Oh yeah, before you fell in the hole of like asking people and like making Journey to Colorado, which I'm gonna call
Hmm.
it the Journey to Colorado. It could be the road. It could be. We'll have multiple names. On Game Jolt, it'll be the road. On Steam, it'll be the
Yes.
Journey. So like people get confused and just give up and don't buy it. Anyways, um, I started working on it and I was like thinking I was thinking about learning how to code and make it, but then I
Hmm.
was like, it's not just the code, you know, it's also like, see who changes, who touched my thing, dude. Anyways, it's probably me. Oh, balls. Like
So you
I
said
got,
it's not just the code.
it's not just coding. Yeah, you have to do like the pixel art and you have to do
Hmm.
the sprite design, you have to do the map design. And so then I was like, well, I could get like RPG Maker. And then it was kind of like this oh, you had stuff. Duh. And then and then it came to, well, that would also just take forever to do. And
Hmm.
so I kind of just like I didn't drop it, but I kind of just like put it aside because I still think the idea of this idea is really interesting. least to me and to us, I
Yeah.
would think, because it's like
Oh yeah.
a joke or not really a joke, but it was a concept we came up with in freshman year,
Yeah.
where you
Like
were thinking you're gonna move to Colorado, and we're like, well, we got to get there somehow.
yeah. Like it was in the works for like 3 months. Like we had like already had a house like set up. Like we were gonna like check out the house and stuff. And then my parents were like, "Nope, we're not doing it." I was like, "Oh,
Yeah,
okay." It was like it was going to happen, and then just suddenly it didn't.
yeah.
It was so weird.
So
Um,
why not to? I don't. You don't need to reveal anything if you don't want to. But like, why were you moving to Colorado? Was it your dad had
mm,
a job there, or?
so it was my mother was going to get a better paying job. It was the same place, but they were looking for people to work there because there was no one working at that site. So
Oh,
she was going to get a pay raise, get her own store, and they would be giving us a house essentially. Like in
yo,
like there was an entire neighborhood full of houses that were unpurchased, and like they owned all of these houses. Like so we could just get one of them. All we had to do was like pick out the house we wanted and just move there.
right.
And we would get a bigger house, pretty much free except for like paying for utilities. And it was going to be a really cool thing. And we were going to be moving towards like with we'd be moving near a bunch of family friends that we knew.
Mm-hmm.
And Colorado's a pretty state, so it was like, hey, nice.
Right.
But I actually don't know why they just decided not to do it. Like I was like, okay, I'm for it. Like I'll miss my friends, but
All
like
right. I'll leave him. I'll leave him behind.
I'll leave you behind, Jacob. It'll be
Free
fine.
house, cool architect or cool landscape, friends or old
Think
family friends. But all my friends are left in the old
think about
state.
how much they'll have to like buy me stuff to make up for the fact that they moved me across like a couple
Yeah.
states. They
Mm-hmm.
got all this extra money to spend now. Better spend it on me.
Right.
But
Um.
yeah.
Yeah.
So uh, but yeah, like I've been interested in making this game as well since then. Like we've talked about it on and off for several years.
Yeah, because
Um,
it's always been interesting, because
yeah.
we're both big gamers.
Hmm.
Even though we apparently hate calling ourselves gamers, but we're both big into video games. We're like, well, why can't we make one? We know what we
Yeah.
like in a game, and if we like it, someone else must like this. That's what I was always thinking. Like, that's
Yeah.
also what I think with like writing stories. Like, if I like this, there has to be someone else that is finding this at least mildly interesting. You know?
Yeah. Like there's going to be a lot of hate regardless, but as long as someone out there is like, "Hey, I enjoyed playing this." It's
Yeah,
like, "Cool. Yeah. Nice."
yeah.
And like
So,
that's all you need.
um, if you don't mind, I was going to read a little bit of my Google Doc, if that's okay.
That's fine, yeah.
Um, we had the Google Docs, which was a long time ago.
Yes. I
Um,
love the
and
Google
there's a
Docs.
part of the Google Docs I don't think we should talk about. Um,
Oh, is it the part with
yes,
a certain character that we were like
the
maybe
rest stop. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, that part
I
was
don't know why we thought that was a good idea. I don't know why I thought. I'm not gonna put it on you. Actually, I don't know why I thought it was a good idea.
see, I really supported it to the point of finding a character. I was like, hey, this could be the villain of this situation.
Yeah,
I encouraged it to the point of saying maybe he could be the final boss.
yeah.
Yeah, those were some
Did we
poor
have
decisions.
multiple endings? I don't remember. I'll check later.
Yes, we never actually wrote what the different endings would be, not all of them anyway, but we had the idea what if it created different endings, yes.
Yeah. Well, I knew there would be like a secret ending where you kind of, well, not really. Well, I guess it would be a bit secret because you had to hit a certain dialogue box at like the window or something in the beginning of the
Yeah.
game, and then you get like these four battles. At least I
Hmm.
thought of before, where you lose like you lose the first three, and then the last one happens after you get to Colorado. I think is what it was. And then at
Hmm.
that point, the main character has all of his friends, and he's like, maybe I'm not alone, or whatever. Or maybe it was
Yeah.
you, and you're like, I'm not alone. And so then they were able to beat the bad guy, and it was kind of a wholesome moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah, that's so cool. and
Yeah.
like because all like I'm pretty sure all of the party members were going to be completely optional, so that
Yeah.
could have also made like an interesting like by triggering the fact of like adding these party members, it uh, adds a trigger that like changes the ending or makes a switch.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't get them, maybe it's like you're doomed to fail or something. It's like, you know, it's like super lonely. You're going through this whole thing by yourself. Like you can beat it and get this ending, but you know, maybe not exactly the ending you might have wanted. You know,
Yeah.
who knows? Like
I re-
it could be really interesting.
I don't know how far I remember this. I don't know if I ever told you about it a long time ago because I haven't brought it up because it was really stupid. But I remember this idea of you could upgrade your skateboard because that's how you got there. By the way, for those listening, you rode a skateboard on on the freeway and just rode, and not even like normal like you push it. You just kind of like ride it. Anyways, um, I remember thinking that it was gonna have like a nuclear engine on it,
Oh
and it
yes,
was
I
going to like
forgot.
explode, and we had to like yeah turn it off, like yeah defuse the bomb or something, like a nuclear bomb in Colorado, so Nick didn't die.
That's funny.
I don't think it went anywhere, but that was really funny because it's just like this. Because I think that's what I really want. That's what I always go for in anything that I write. Really, is like this.
The
Is
nuclear
anything that I
option.
really like is like this extremely it's in a realistic-ish setting of kids in United States trying to get to their friend in a different state, but it's also incredibly not imaginative, but I guess yeah, imaginative, but it's incredibly just wacky when they're riding on a skateboard, fighting off a gang of kindergartners called the Kindergarten Boys, and like and they're defusing bombs and they're like using nuclear power to propel a skateboard. It's like this wacky thing that doesn't happen, but it's all kind of under that wackiness and the stupidity, it's like this actually serious story of them trying to find their friend and like reconnect
Yeah.
and yeah. And that's always been like that's like why I like it so much is that
Yeah.
idea of I guess family and friendship underneath the
Hmm.
wacky crazy exterior, which I
Like
always go for.
yeah, like I've always loved where it's like, oh, wacky, crazy, nothing serious, ha ha ha, and then it's like suddenly, but it's like those serious moments where it's like, no, this actually kind of matters to us, and, you know, and it's like
Yeah.
important, you know, and then it's like, all right, but back to the wacky.
Yeah.
Like it's like, all right, now that we got that settled, time to, you know, yeah, I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
I feel you, like, and I think that's why we've just stuck with this idea for so long is because, you know, we want to make that fun little wacky game where it's like happy fun times all the way until like some moment where it's like things get kind of serious and it's like, well, this is something that matters to us and we are going to like fight our hardest for this like thing for our friend and, you know,
Yeah.
what we find important, you know. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
ah, yes, love it.
It's awesome. So, um, I don't know. See, that's the problem with doing this. Like how I guess we haven't really started yet, but the difference. This is why I kind of. Now, I didn't want to do it on my own, obviously, but like I wanted to. I guess do it on my own. I don't know because I wanted to. Because I feel like it's gonna be hard for me to convey the story that we want to tell, and then for you to then put it in the game the way that we would both find plot pleasing and both and also plausible. So for me
Yeah,
as the writer, most as like the creative writer, I guess, I have to find a way to write it in a way that it's plausible for you to make it, and you have to find a way to I guess make what I want when I'm writing to happen.
yeah,
And
like
so that's
it's
why I
definitely gonna be
yeah, which is why I kind of want to do it myself because then it's like all on me and I can just understand what I want which is
Mm-hmm.
kind of selfish, but you know what I mean. Like it's yeah.
Yeah, like it feels like it would be easier for you to make exactly what you're imagining if you make it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Although the one problem I see with that is after me experiencing how making it, like I also like for like the little trial game that I'm making so that I have the experience necessary to make the game we're wanting to make. I
Mm-hmm.
had this little idea for like a little game and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go for this. And then I quickly realized how it, the skill level I currently hold is nowhere near enough to do the things I thought I'd be able to. And it's kind of hard to go about it. So, you have to really be patient with yourself and with like the game engine.
Yeah.
Um, because there is a lot that goes into it because you have to make the skills, you have to make the items you'll bring along, like weapons, armor, you know, make each of the maps and all of the NPCs that'll talk and what they'll say and how important it is.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have to like create different switches and toggles that decide, well, if because you talk to them, it changes this with that character, and it's like there's a lot, and you know, it.
Yeah.
I can imagine like having to do that all by yourself would be insanely difficult.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it would, yeah. So
I
it
mean,
kind of helps to have a
yeah.
second person, I'd say.
Right.
Um, but I get what you just said, what you mean, because like what your own vision is, and you kind of have to entrust that vision to me to build it in the physical game.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, that's what I was saying, basically. Yeah.
yeah.
But
So
then,
sometimes there's like some kind of disconnect, and it's like, how do we do this?
yeah,
But
then
you
I
know,
have to like remember that it's not all mine, because like with the things that I've written and envisioned, I guess they've all been mine, and I can control them however I want. But with this, it's like it's not just mine; it's yours too. So I have to like,
yeah,
I have to tell myself, okay, Jacob, you can't just control everything. You have to let Nick decide on some things. You know?
because it's a shared project. It's
Yeah.
kind of different than what you're kind of used to.
Yeah.
Like,
Which isn't,
I,
I'm not trying to sound
oh,
like
I understand.
selfish. I'm just like, I've been better working alone. So it's like I have to, yeah, that's all.
Mhm. Honestly, I think I'm very much the same. I've noticed with a lot of different things, I'll like I'll talk with people to help like brainstorm and stuff, but like I'll take what ideas I like and then leave what I don't. I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna go do this on my own now.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like,
Yeah.
wait, I probably shouldn't do that because they really want to be a part of this. So we kind of have to find a way to do this thing together. So
Yeah.
I honestly also have a bit trouble with I guess teamwork.
Yeah.
uh,
That's what we're learning today. We don't like each other, actually. We hate
it's
working
kind of
together.
it's kind of ironic. Like despite how like well conversation wise, it's like I with other people, like I love talking with people, great in conversation. Like conversation is a give and take, you know.
Yeah.
Um, but when it comes to like a project where I'm like, ooh, I'm gonna do this, I tend to be like, all right, I'm gonna do this all on my own, even though it's like, oh well, I guess they are supposed to do something.
Uh huh.
Ugh,
Yeah.
so I feel you.
This is
So
definitely learning,
it'll be
a learning
interesting.
experience. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey man, it could be a very good experience for us in the future, like
Yeah.
help work with other people's at like a job or something.
Uh huh.
Like because I never really had to do anything like this at school because most things are graded singularly. Like you just do your single part and you're fine. It's like
Right.
group projects didn't really exist in a lot of my classes because they realized no one ever cared.
Yeah.
Um, so most of the projects that I was actually interested in were all like solo. Like
Mm-hmm.
when I made my license plate and my shirt and just like making my little claymation video I did for a class. Like I did all of those like all on my own. I was like, yes, I'm proud of what I did and this is cool. So
Well,
like I've never had to do stuff like that with someone else.
we did make that gym video one time.
We did do that together. We did do that.
So I guess one time we got a track
we
record. We're
were,
1-0 right
yeah.
now.
Yes.
So this is a good. We're on an uphill right now, so
Yeah.
we're gonna nail this. By the just saying.
I think that's what's good about us is like that we do work pretty well together considering. Like
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think we've ever like gotten frustrated at each other about working together. I don't think we have yet. Not that I'm aware of
Well, we'll
anyway.
find out.
We'll find out.
This is a
Because
long road.
this game is gonna break our friendship.
Yeah, this is the last episode of TGOM.
Yeah, like it's like guys, we finished the game. Also, Tagam is ending.
Actually, even better, like if next episode we're just like the entire time we're super passive aggressive with each other. It's like, oh yeah, you would say that.
Oh yes.
Yeah, that'd be yeah.
Oh,
That's
that's so funny. But yeah, like oh, I actually okay. So I told you this off the podcast. I remember. So there, you know how I told you about how I was having difficulties finding like good graphics or like good tile sets that
tile
fit
sets. Yeah.
the yeah. I turns out it has some that fit the modern day that I just never noticed. Like they were at a completely different
Nice.
section that was not shown.
Sounds like
So
you, honestly. TBH.
like it just was not there. Like and then I like turned on a setting or whatever, and then it showed extra tile sets. It's like, oh, there's the modern tiles. Um, so it unlocked a few clothing options, not nearly as many as I wish they would, but
Yeah.
there's more clothes that are more modern and not fantasy armor, as well as like there's
That's
cars,
sorry.
you know.
That's another thing that I was. That's another reason why I like kind of gave up was because for like RPG Maker, there's like all these DLCs of like clothes, cars, tiles, walls,
Yep.
and I'm like, I don't want to pay an extra $80 on top of the $50 I paid for the like, maker just so I can make
Yeah.
this. Yeah, so I was like, well, I'll just learn how to
Yeah.
code. Then I saw the tutorials like 10 hours long. I'm like, never mind. I'm just,
Yeah. Like I was doing coding for a while and like I did coding for 2-3 months, somewhere around there. And in those 3 months of me trying, because all I wanted to do was a choose your own adventure game where it's like black and white screen, just text on a screen. That's it.
I did one of those. In
Um,
fact, sorry, not to cut you
really?
off. Yeah, in
Um,
computer science.
huh.
I,
Um, so I for 2 to 3 months was trying to like program this little game. I didn't ever take a class for it, so it was all just me trying to figure it out on my own.
right.
Um, with a little bit of knowledge that, like, the only programming I had done previously before that was I made a calculator,
Nice.
like with like programming stuff, because that was a project for like 1 week of school. Like it was like, all right, we're just gonna like day by day go through making a calculator with this programming.
Is that when we did
Um,
like code.com or yeah, or learn
it was
how to code? What was that website called
yeah.
with the blocks?
Oh, you're talking about Itch.io?
No.
I
No.
could have sworn that's what it was called.
Oh, Scratch? Is it Scratch?
Yeah, Scratch Scratch.io, something like that.
It's something like Scratch. Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of forgot about that because it did not feel like coding to me at all because it was too colorful and too childlike.
It
Like
was
I get that it
gross.
was.
Yeah, it's called Scratch.
Like yeah, I did not like that. Like it felt gross and
Yeah,
childish, and I felt like
it was awful. It
like
yeah.
I get it was supposed to teach kids how to code, but it's like I don't care about this. Like it, I don't know. I would have much
Yeah.
preferred if, other ways of teaching. Anyway, um, so in my like 2 to 3 months of like trying to like learn how to code a little game, like just pretty much on my own, it did not work out. I didn't get past the first couple options. I was able to make the screen save to whatever I wanted, but I was not able to get the events to trigger. Maybe now that I have some more experience with how it works a little bit, I would be able to do that. But
Yeah.
like it's hard.
Not to control you, but let's work on Colorado first. I'm just gonna call it Colorado until we come up with a name because we jump between three. So
Yeah. Honestly, I was gonna make that game as my trial game because I was like, okay, well, I want to make a game this Colorado game, so I'm gonna learn how to code, and that was gonna be my trial game, like a coding game, simple. Let's just choose your own adventure, because
Yeah.
essentially Colorado was gonna be some version of choosing your own adventure. Maybe not
Somewhat.
directly.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're not directly choosing an option, but it would affect different events, so it would
That's
be
what we.
branching out.
That's what it should be. It should be a visual novel. Duh. We're
You're
going the
so
wrong
right.
way.
Like, you're right.
That's what
You're
the
right,
people want.
dude. Visual novels, yes, yeah. Essentially, I wanted to make that little branching path game because it would be a good base for me to
Yeah.
know how to do that kind of thing for our little Colorado RPG.
Hmm.
Um, but because all of their explanations are too in depth to the point of like they're just too. The skill level you need is so high to even be a part of these tutorials and stuff, because you just need
Yeah.
to know how this stuff works anyway.
Yeah.
You need to have a
Yeah.
firm base.
Yep.
So
Yep.
not having that
Yep.
is killer.
Yep.
So I definitely understand your pain.
I took
It's like,
3 years of computer science, well, two technically, of coding, and then one of cybersecurity, and I was dog poop because for the life of me, I could not figure out how to code. Like I was like, I looked at it and I could read my teacher's notes, and I could copy and paste it, and it wouldn't work, and I'd be like, okay,
see, I could make certain things work, and I was like, okay, I know how this specific sentence works. And then I would try to do something extra because I'm like, well, if this
and then
works,
it
then
breaks.
yeah, it's like
Yep.
you think by just extending that a little bit into maybe something that you're wanting to do, you
Yep.
thought just, it's like,
Nope.
yeah. Nope, never. It'll never work
I
unless
hate
you
coding.
really thoroughly, yeah, you
I
have to
hate
thoroughly
coding.
understand how it works.
Yeah.
Um,
Which was
and
something I could
then,
never do because
yeah.
I could never pay attention in school.
hmm Like, it it just takes so much, like you be using your brain so much.
Uh huh.
There's so much thought that goes into it, like,
Which was like why I could do the choose your own adventure game was because it was like one line of code, and then you type in if this is pressed, this happens. If this is pressed, this happens, and you just repeat that over and over again.
mm-hmm.
So basically, you had like all these dots were already showing, and then text would pop up under them or above them, and then you click which
Yeah.
one you wanted. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so the choose your own adventure game that I made was not very good. I probably got like a C on it because it was you're supposed to have both like a text box type in or a drop
Uh-huh.
box, one of those, or a press and a press button. You had to have both of them somewhere at least once. I'm pretty sure, or twice. I don't. It doesn't matter. Um, I never did the select box because it took away from my narrative. I think, and I couldn't figure it out.
So,
Um,
like, moving your cursor over a button to press to choose,
yeah,
right?
you pressed. And
Yeah.
there's two options. There could have been more. Some kids did like one block of text and you could pick like from 5 bubbles. I was like, no, that's baby talk. So I legitimately crafted an entire story just for my choose your own adventure game in computer science class. And it was like it was like this assassination training guide basically, and you played a
Mm-hmm.
character named Mr. Ringer, like Ringer, Ringer,
Yeah.
and so basically it asked you a question like the one question that I remember was you and a pregnant woman are trapped on a crashing plane, and there's one parachute. Do you give it to the woman or do you jump out with the parachute?
Oh
And
no.
I made the answer you jump out and you don't give it to the woman, and if you gave it to the woman you get shot by the guy who's giving you the test. Um,
Oh
and
dang.
if you finish the test correctly, which is you have to do it. If you don't do it correctly, you have to restart. You don't have to restart, but you have to refresh the page. It was very
Oh.
rudimentary.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh yeah.
So you had to like do all the bad things, which are things you shouldn't do morally. Like I was trying to ask moral questions, like would you give it to a pregnant woman? Would you stab an old woman or something? I don't remember. The only one I remember is
Yeah.
the pregnant woman. But after a while, you like or after you finish the test, you like run away, and you see a big cloning room. So it's like Agent 47, where he's like a clone
Mm-hmm.
from Hitman. It's like that. So they're like training these clones to become super secret assassins, basically, and they're trying to teach them to
Oh.
not have moral. And so, and the name Mr. Ringer or Ringer is a synonym for like clone. I'm pretty sure. I googled like synonyms for clone and tried to find the one that sounded less like clone. It was Ringer. It was very surprising, and it was. I
Weird.
actually really enjoyed the story. I thought it was really kind of cool,
Yeah,
but
that is cool
that
because
wasn't the project. So but it was still cool.
like
I thought it was cool.
it, yeah, that is cool. Like because you think the game is just a cute little test. Well, not cute, but it's
Yeah,
just a little
cute.
test. And then by the end you realize it's this deep dark thing. It's like, "Oh yeah, you are a clone and we're trying to teach you not to have
I
morals."
wonder if I
So
could find it.
if you choose the morally correct option, you're shot. You're dead
Uh huh.
and you were a failed clone. We're going to make a new one. Uh so yeah, that's cool.
Thanks. I thought it was. Yeah, I thought it was really cool. Is this it?
Like
I think this is it.
that feels like I've been in I play too many indie games.
Yeah.
Like that feels like how a lot of indie games will make like some little tiny game or like little ARG or whatever, and it's like, oh, what is this weird thing on the internet? And it's like super mysterious, and it's like, what is happening? And then by the end, it's like, oh yeah, there's this weird darker story thing going on, and then it's like just like, all right, yep, this is alluding to our next game, like whenever that comes out, and it's like, oh snap, this is crazy. Like kind of what Doki Doki Literature Club did,
Yeah.
um, because like it looks like a visual novel
No.
dating sim, but it's something much darker apparently.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
What's up?
That's. I was trying to sign into my Replit account, which I used to make the game, because I was trying to find it, but it's disabled, so I can't.
Dang.
Yeah. Because now I really want to play it, because I'm like, that was really cool. I should do that again. Because that was.
Yeah.
Or
Hey
I should
man,
do something with that, because it was. Yeah.
you'll have to teach me your ways because I was over here trying to use C++ to program this little choose your own adventure
I
game.
think mine was Java. I think that's what I.
You're using
That
Java.
was like computer science basics in class was Java.
See, our class was learning C because it was like the basis of most programming scripts.
Yeah,
Um, so
that's
it's
what
like,
I
oh yeah,
was.
it's like if you know how to use C, then you'll be able to use the rest.
That's what I
And I
was
was
gonna
like,
use for
okay.
the game. Yeah, C plus, and then it was like 10 hours of tutorials. I gave up.
Yeah, like so. One day I do want to go back and make that kind of game
Hmm.
because because it's weird. Like the choose your own adventure games can feel really heartwarming and like sweet, or just feel really dark and lonely. Like I like the black and white text where it's like you have to imagine everything that's going on, and like when something bad happens, you just suddenly realize how lonely everything looks. And it's like,
Hmm.
I don't know, like aesthetically, it really fits the kind of games that I like to play and like what I like to think of. So,
Yeah,
one day I'll go back to that and try it out. But I'll set that
I
aside
just.
until I can finish my other passion project.
I'm pretty sure I watched my teacher. I'm going back to my project, but like I'm pretty sure I watched him when he did mine because he was like I saw his eyes like open wide. I'm pretty sure when he read like the pregnant woman, do you give her the parachute or not? I think he talked about it to me too. He was like, "I like that was an interesting road," and I'm like, "Yeah." I think I
So
had my
did
friend
you?
play it too. Sorry, what?
So like when because your writing is very dark sometimes.
It can be.
Whenever you
Yeah.
have whenever you have a teacher read some of it, do they always like, "Hey, are you okay? Like, do you need
Um,
someone to talk to?" Like, do you have teachers do that? Because you have some dark writing sometimes.
I've never really shown my writing to my teachers, but I think they probably think it internally. I don't think they've ever like actually said it to me though. You know?
Okay. Because like sometimes I'll hear about how you like show a teacher something like that, and like, oh, what is this?
Yeah. Well,
And like I
I'm
think about that, like, wow.
I'm sorry. That's like that not what interests me, but
Oh, you're
that's like
fine.
interesting. Well, I guess that yeah, I'm stupid. That's
Oh,
what
you don't have to
interests me.
apologize. It is really interesting.
Yeah.
It's just teachers always assume the worst about a student with stuff like that. It's like, oh
Yeah.
no, they're deeply depressed, or they're like dangerous to themselves or others, or like just thinks really bad things. And it's
I'm
like, oh
not
my
gonna
god, teacher,
stab
chill.
someone because I said I was gonna throw a woman out of a pregnant woman or leave a pregnant woman in a plane. You
Like
know?
they're just like, oh, because they wrote this thing down, they must be really disturbed. It's like,
Yeah.
it's a story. Like, oh
Which I mean,
man,
in some cases could be true, but like, yeah, for me, it's not that
yeah.
I'm not disturbed. It's just that I like I like
It's just an
putting
interesting
the
story.
reader in like this weird position of do I pick the right thing? At least, especially in this case, like, do I pick the right thing or do I pick the thing that I know it wants me to pick? You know, so
Yeah, like, do
and
I
you,
pick what I think is right, or do I pick what they think is right?
yeah,
You know,
yeah, and
so it's fun. It's
it's
interesting.
like, and I
I like
think
this
up
kind
to this point, that was the first time that the guy shot you. I think the other two times, if you got it wrong, I think if you got the first one wrong or the second one wrong, and you got the first one right, he like shocked you or tased you or something. And then the last
of.
one, he just shoots you if you get it wrong because he's like you can't be a assassin if you can't kill a pregnant woman basically. You know,
Dang.
so yeah, it was, and it's I don't know.
Yeah.
I thought it was super interesting, but I could see how someone would be like, "Are you okay?" It's like, yes, I'm fine. I just thought it would be interesting.
Yeah. I'm fine. I just wanted to write something where it makes the viewer question their morality. Like,
Yeah.
because that's a cool concept. Like,
Hmm.
no, it's not you want to be dark and edgy. You don't want to show people the world is dark. You want to question their morality as an
Yeah.
individual and a
If
person. Make
if
them think,
if I wanted
and
to be
that
dark and
is what's good writing.
if I wanted to be thank you. If I wanted to be dark and edgy, I would have been like, you see 10 goth metalheads. What do? You pull out your gun. What do? You know? You shoot them. And then you go headbang to
Shoot the guy on his
something.
right or shoot the guy on the left.
Yeah. Yeah, I have like I
Start
have dots
headbanging
under their
to,
faces. Like, do you
oh,
shoot
what's an
this
edgy
guy?
band?
My Chemical Romance. That's pretty edgy. Well, that's just emo. That's not really. I guess.
Ah, yeah. I actually do
What's
like.
what's
I
like?
do actually like My Chemical Romance.
Well,
Um,
that's you. That's
what is an
typical.
edgy band? Hey man, I'm low key
Oh,
emo. um,
Disturbed is
oh,
pretty
what's an edgy
edgy.
band? I'm trying
Five
to think
Finger
of
Death
like a
Punch is kind of
super
just
metal. I don't know
uh.
any like death metal bands off the top of my head.
Bring Me the Horizon was pretty death metal for a while. Now they're not, but they were death metal. I don't know. I don't listen to death metal.
Man.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I
Like I know
ex-
so many people that do though, which is crazy that I haven't picked up any of the band names.
I exclusively listen to
Oh man.
Japanese pop music, which is so off from my character,
you
but it's really funny.
you listen to J-pop?
Yup, all I do, baby, all
Gotta
day.
love that J-pop, man. I
Uh,
wonder, do people in other countries call like American pop music A-pop?
it's a good
I
question,
wonder
actually. I don't know.
because we call it
Jason
J-pop or
Derulo.
K-pop because
Sorry.
you know.
No,
But yeah, we call it that just because we aren't them.
they just listen to BTS everywhere. So
Ah, you're so right.
yeah,
They don't need A-pop
they
because they
don't
have
need it.
BTS.
They don't need Justin Timberlake. They have Jimin and others.
God. I listened to
Um,
one song from Justin Timberlake and it wasn't even him singing. It was a robot. And I was like,
let's
what am I listening
go.
to? Like,
That's really funny.
ugh,
So,
but
have you heard the news? The big news?
the news.
Yep.
The news on what?
Monty
What's the
Gator's
news?
gonna be in Fortnite.
No! No! Oh
uh,
my god.
there
I
was
so
there
I saw that on
was
Twitter. Mm-mm.
There was a leak apparently. Well, not a leak. It was like Epic Games. Uh, what's the word? Like a forum that had like characters you want to see. I think.
Mm-hmm.
And it has Gordon Freeman, which by the way, if Gordon Freeman is in Fortnite, I will give up on the internet. Um, Meta Knight, how would Meta Knight work in?
Jesus.
But yeah, when I want to talk, there's Monty from FNAF.
Like, I saw that post on Twitter and I just put no like 20 times and then put please no. And then that was my comment.
That's
Like,
so funny.
I would love to see Monty Gator somewhere, but not on Fortnite.
Vi and
Not
Jinx are also in
Fortnite.
Fortnite, by the way.
Already?
Yup. Which they did Jinx dirty. She is not hot in Fortnite.
Ooh.
And she is very. If you listen to this podcast, if you listen to episode 5, you know that I think Jinx is very attractive. So you know I take big offense to that, and I will not be spending my V-Bucks on it.
As soon as Arcane came out, they made deals with all the games.
Yeah.
Like the moment it was out, because like Valorant has them, like has stuff. Fortnite has stuff. I think Brawlhalla is gonna have like character skins for some of them.
Why do people play
Like,
Brawlhalla, dude? That game is so stupid.
it's like if you put melee on all items mode.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. It's a weird game. I don't know how it works.
Yeah, it's so weird.
Like, I have a few buddies that are really good at that game, and I'm like, but like, I don't have any interest in it.
No,
like,
not at all.
I would much prefer to play like Super Smash Bros. Melee or like Ultimate.
Yeah.
You know, those two are fun.
I'd rather
Especially
play
for
Nickelodeon
casuals
All
like
Stars.
us. Oh, you're so right.
Oh, that game hurts. I haven't played in so long. I downloaded it for the Garfield update, and then I uninstalled again.
That's so funny.
Yeah. It was only because Emily told me to play it.
Is Garfield good?
No.
Dang. Wow. Did they do him dirty?
Yeah.
Honestly, I think I would like Nickelodeon All Stars just for the references, because it's like, oh my god, I know this character and that one. It's like
you wouldn't.
I mean, dude, I heard that the Toaster Man was in there, and I was like, bro, it's the Toaster Man.
Yeah, he's trash. He's literally like the worst character. We talked about this like the second episode. I talked about the Toaster Man and how bad he was.
Dang, I didn't know that. Oh, I forgot the Toaster Man was bad.
Throwback.
Oh, dude, I forgot how long ago that episode was. A while ago.
Yeah, dang. That was our haunted episode. The day that on Halloween, that episode actually came out on Halloween, despite what YouTube may say. Despite what YouTube says, it did come out on Halloween, unlike the first episode, which came out, 7 days before. Anyways, this is gonna be like our last thing. Lego battles.
Lego battles.
Lego battles. So, as you know, I've kind of gone through a journey. If you pay attention to what I talk about, which is fine if you don't, honestly. But so I checked back. I didn't even check back. I got a notification on my phone, and it was like the Lego battles Reddit has been unsuspended. It's like, what? Apparently, what? It's been like suspended for 2 years or something, and now there's like activity on it. People are like, "Here's the new Discord link. Here's how you play it." And it's like, what? That's awesome. So it exists. It just was suspended for some reason. So I guess there was like a pedophile in their ranks or something. I don't know. Oh, wow. It was weird.
That's crazy. There's drama in the Lego battles Reddit.
I guess there's 147 people in it, but there's big drama. It was really funny. I was like, oh.
You remember 148 now?
Dude, I really do kind of want to join the Discord, but I'm just like so scared. I'm really anxious about it.
I'll join it with you.
Okay.
If you want. We'll join it together.
Okay.
It'll be an experience.
Okay, I'll give you my other copy of Lego Battles then. No, I need both of them so I can run tournaments.
Yes, of course.
I gotta beat both of them because you have to unlock all the stuff.
I wonder if there's like an emulator for it or something that people use.
There. If you check the Reddit, which is unsuspended, uh, there's like a website that you can play it on. It's an emulator, but it's I don't know. It's there. You can
Oh,
just check the Reddit.
so for random, like off topic, completely random,
Hit it.
like you
Go.
reminded me of, remember like Super Flash Bros?
Yes. Yes.
That
Yes.
game was
Yes. We used to
that
play like
I
3 people on a Chromebook, which you have to understand that is the
yes.
most cramped keyboard. We had 3 hands, like four
God,
hands cramped across. It's so funny. Okay, sorry.
that was like I that just like for some reason you saying like emulator at that moment just snapped that thing back into my memory. I had forgotten that game existed.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I always played Falco or Fox or whatever the shining one was. Like I think they had Fox or Falco in there, or they had a character like them,
Yeah.
and it was
I
that game
yeah.
was so weird,
We played it
bro.
during tech class, right? Like 8th grade too.
Yeah, like typing, like computer typing
It
class.
was. It wasn't. Yeah, it was
It was
typing. Well, that
it
was
was typing
seventh
among other
grade.
things. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
just computer class. They just called it computer.
I thought they called it technology class. I don't
They
remember.
might have.
That was eighth
Like it
grade. That's when we played
like
paper golf. Dude, paper
yeah,
airplane golf. That's a
yes.
throwback.
That
That's
was
deep lore. That's
that was like
deep.
the first time where like you had been like, you know what, this guy's kind of all right.
Yeah,
I remember that day specifically. I was like, ah, yes, Jacob just
dude.
noticed me,
That's
noticed me,
deep.
senpai.
That's deep Jacob and Nick lore right there. Paper airplane
Yes,
golf.
it really is.
PAG. The
I
PAG.
wish I, I wish we
Dude,
remembered the rules though. It's been so long.
I don't.
Goodness,
And maybe in your art notebook. I feel like we wrote a lot in that notebook, or you
we did
did.
write a lot. Yeah.
You know, we had our map of what was the country?
Of
Oh, chaos. I was
chaos.
about to
Yeah,
ask what the
chaos with a
country's
K.
called, but I remember. Or the
Yep, chaos with
planet.
a K.
Yep.
And then
And the spelling changed depending on which multiverse you were in.
we had a multiverse, bro.
Yeah,
Think about it. We had a multiverse before Marvel did.
we were the original multiverse.
we were, we were, we were, we were the
Dude,
Oh man,
paper airplane
yeah.
golf was awesome.
Sometimes I just want to go back to those days. Those days were kind of great.
Yeah, they're
Like,
just simple.
yeah,
And now it's
life was
like,
simple. We could just do Scratch, you know, playing games instead of coding on the crappy Scratch website.
yeah, we also, no one remembers this. There was this, you remember the height of all those IO games like Agari and
Yes, like
other
Agario,
ones that I don't
Snakeo.
remember.
I remember Agario and Snakeo.
There was one where it was like a survival game, and
I remember. Yeah,
and
already. Yep.
okay, well, good. And I remember we would get like one time we had like we were in the middle of a like a school meeting or something. We were in that like unused room next to the library. Um,
Oh, uh-huh.
like the big meeting room,
That room
and
was always empty for no reason.
yeah, did they do ice step in there? Is ice step give away where we live? Whatever.
It gives away the fact that we live in Indiana.
Well, now it really does, but you know that's fine.
What? I mean, it's the Indiana
Well,
something
they
or
didn't
other.
have to know it was the Indiana Standardized Testing Exquisite Progress. I don't know. I don't know what the E and the
Something
P
like
stand
that.
for. Anyways,
Okay.
I
I think
remember.
we've talked about the state we live in before, I think.
Have we? I don't know. I mean,
All right, so let me tell you my zip code.
so so back in the day when I was growing up in my home city of yeah. Anyways, we had like I think like 10 people on the same server of that game, and the only way you could do that was by everyone timing pressing join basically, or leaving and
Uh-huh.
joining over and over again so they could get into the right server.
Oh, yeah.
Because you couldn't like select one. And I remember that was so fun, just like running around and seeing everyone, and then like messing with what they were building. Dude, those are good days. That was before I had Minecraft. That was like, yeah. That was also during Bad Eggs. I miss Bad Eggs, dude. That game was
See,
fun, and now it's
I
dead.
see. I didn't have many friends back in those days, so like Bad Eggs was just like the game I wish I could play with people. I never played Bad Eggs because I never had anyone to play with.
Yeah,
So I was like, oh, man, one
that's
day I'll be the Bad Eggs kid.
well. I played it with Nathan, and yeah, that guy that I hate,
God,
and I
Nathan.
played it with. Well, I really played with whoever I could, honestly. So I
Yeah,
would
that's fair.
we played it in social studies a lot, and I would in science class. I'm pretty sure. So like you would find you'd have I would be playing with Nathan because I always like sat next to him or behind him. So
Uh huh.
Nathan would play with someone, and then by proxy, I would get invited to play with them, and
Yeah,
so I would end up playing with a bunch of people, like in Bad
that's
Eggs.
cool.
Yeah, I never talked to him ever again, but yeah, I played with him.
You
So
know, I hadn't thought about it because you guys have similar last names. You would just always be stuck with that guy.
yeah, that was the
Like,
bad thing
oh,
about middle school is like you get stuck with the same people.
yeah, because it's like, oh yeah, both of you have the last name with like the letter F. Yep, cool. You're next to each other now.
Yeah,
Always. That's your middle school buddy. It's like, oh God, why? That's what I liked about. Well, that's what I liked and hated about our high school.
yeah,
Um, is like you would never get stuck with people you hate all that often, but you get stuck with so many strangers it doesn't even matter.
yeah.
It's like I don't
That's
know anyone here.
word. Yeah, that was
You know,
me.
when there's like 5,000 students. Jesus. Like there was 5,000 kids there by the time we graduated. That's insane to me.
Yeah, yeah, that was me. Like I never had class with someone I knew, which was why I kind of like really grew close to my friends in tech theater, like
Yeah.
because those are like the only people that I saw regularly because they were always in
Mhm.
tech theater and it was always the same two periods and advanced was
Yeah.
always seventh period, so it was like if I'm advanced and they're all advanced, we're always there. So it's like that's awesome, you
Yeah.
know. And then
And
they
it
all
was
left
nice
because they
because
graduated, and I was like, well, that
yeah,
sucks.
like
So
it was just they were your group that you were
yeah.
comfortable with.
Oh,
You've just been
dude,
around this long.
we had. You could ask Evan, I guess, because that's the only one that's in this Discord server. But like, you could ask him about some of the craziest things we did. It was so much fun. Like just because really, you could just run around back there. Not literally, but like figuratively, you could just run around back there because our teacher was so cool, which had a fault to it. I could talk about that later at some point if you wanted me to talk about tech theater more because I will because it is a big part of high school. But
Yeah.
like because we have to probably wrap up here soon. But like yeah, you could
Hmm.
figuratively just run around because there was like a basement under the theater, under the stage. There was the catwalks. There was the not boardwalk, the
Oh,
stadium seating
yeah.
basically in the theater. There was the studio theater. There was the what we called the what did we call them? What did I call them? I had a name for them, but I completely forgot. Oh, my nickname was Golden Goose or Golden Egg, one of the two. Um,
Interesting.
yeah,
Why were you
because
called Golden Goose for Meg?
I don't remember why called myself Golden Goose or Golden something. It was Golden something for sure. I know it was golden, but and I'm pretty sure it was a fowl of some sort. But yeah, you could. It was so much fun, and the people, or especially the advanced kids that, or my friends, I should say, not just kids. And at the time, most of them were almost adults. So,
Yeah.
but they were like some of the most nice, like the nicest, most genuine people you could meet, really. And it was just,
Cool.
it's awesome, dude. Not to say you're
See,
not nice and genuine, but like they were, yeah. It was like a group
yeah,
of
that's sweet.
supporting people, really. It was awesome.
I had always wanted to go into tech theater, but like it was intimidating to me. But like it was like like because I had realized I was like, oh man, they're like this cool group. They're kind of close knit. And
Dude,
then I was
we
like, oh
were,
man, but
we
I'll be
were very
yeah.
close.
And then I was like, oh man, but then I'm gonna just be like that intruder. I was
Yeah.
so nervous.
I could have, yeah, it would have been like one of those things where, and I'm like, who do you know here, dude? Who do you know here? And I'm like, yo, guys, back up. I know him. He's cool.
I'm now thinking about that song Heathens, where like the line where it's like like they ask you who you know or something.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, dude, I
I
would have
love
been
it.
there. I'd have been like, "Yo, back off, man. That's my homie." Not that
I
anyone
love
would
it.
have done that, by the way. I'm just stating.
It's like who you
Yeah,
who are you?
get out of
Like
here,
who do you
bro.
know? Yeah, get out of here. This is our group. What are you doing here?
I mean, we did do that to some people, I will say, but like it was never to the point. It was never to the point of like get out.
Get
You
out of
know,
here.
it
Yeah,
was
get
just
out of
kind of
here.
it was just kind of like raw, and then we kind of went to our own little spot and talked. But
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, the one guy you should have met, his name was Nathan, not different Nathan. I talked about Nathan also on like the second episode because I was like talking about Nathan and saying I hate that guy, but not this Nathan because I like that guy a lot.
Yeah.
And he's super nice. Like he would walk up to random people like while we're getting ready for a show or something, like do stupid jokes and like mess with them. And it's really funny. He's a really funny guy. And like I think he would have been like if you would have met him, I think you would have gotten into tech theater. I think you would have been like, well, I guess because like it's that one person that you need to like kind of break the ice for you, and then once
Yeah.
you have that one person, you're kind of smooth sailing.
Like I'm pretty good with talking with people, as you know.
As I
But
know,
like I need an opening of some sort, and he could be my opening. He could be my in to
I could
infiltrate.
I could also have been your opening. Just I'm pretty sure I
That's true.
invited you once or twice,
Did
and
you
you.
really?
I thought I did. I
I
don't think I invited you. I think I insinuated like you could come. I'll be there because I like always had to stay. But
see if you did. I did not get that at all.
that's okay.
Like,
That's fine.
oh man, if I'd known, I would have definitely gone because like after school, because once school ends, I don't know
You
what to do.
Yeah, you
So
sat
like
in the
I'm just like,
cafeteria, and I'm pretty sure
yeah,
that's yeah.
yeah. Like I just chill in the cafeteria until someone is like, "Hey, hang out with me." I'm like, "Okay," and then I follow whoever that person is.
Hmm.
Like I've met complete strangers who's like, "Oh man, I'm having a bad moment," and I'm like, "Hey, I could help you." Like, okay, cool. And then like I just walk with this complete stranger to my house, and we're like hanging out for like 3 4 hours. It's like, who are you? Who is this person I invited into my house?
Wow.
Like
I mean,
that's happened so many times.
yeah. So
Ah,
for me, like, definitely freshman year in tech theater, I was like, I just want to say, tech theater. I didn't want to go into tech theater. That was like my mom told me to do it because at the time I wanted to be like a filmmaker, and I couldn't find
mm-hmm.
anything. And my mom was like, "Well, you may learn something about film." And I was like, "What? Okay." It's it's so, and then I joined it, and the only reason I stayed in it for 4 years, really, was because of one the people, and two it was just easy. Which I think was why I
That's fair.
stayed for senior year was because it was just easy. I should have taken study hall, but whatever. Live and learn, I guess. I'm pretty sure the
See,
only reason I like got into it, like and stayed really was because or like stayed for the after school stuff because I could have just done like just class and then left and never done the after school stuff, but I did do it for
mhm.
a good while. I think it
Yeah, I
was
remember I'd see you at some of the plays and stuff
yeah,
or the
and they called
musicals.
you 6'9". I remember that.
I vaguely remember that. Yeah.
I was at Elf, right? No, yeah,
No,
no, it was Sweeney
it was
Todd.
at yeah, Sweeney Todd.
Yeah, okay. Elf was
I
different.
really like that one. I really like the Sweeney Todd one. That one
I
was a good one.
didn't work on that one at all. Anyways,
You didn't? I could
oh,
have
I
sworn I saw you
did.
there.
No, I did, but I didn't work on like the set. That's what I meant. Oh yeah, I
Oh,
did.
gotcha.
Whatever. I was there. Whatever. That's fine. Um, there were like these three girls. Their names were Maddie, Leslie, and Jackie, and they were like, and there's a guy too. I forgot his name. Um, but after he
I
left, he like
remember.
completely disconnected. Well, then again, so did they. But like, so those three were like really nice most of the time. I will say
Uh
sometimes they're kind of rude, but it's whatever. They're women. I'm just kidding. That's a joke.
huh.
That's a joke, by the way. I sh- After coming off the last episode, I really shouldn't have said that, but that's okay.
Straight into misogyny.
Um, because especially Jackie, she was really nice, and she was also a sound. She was like the sound person before I was.
Yeah.
So she like taught me what I needed to do, really. And so that kind of roped me in, and then I met Nathan, and Ken was there. He was pretty cool. But you had to get used to Ken because he would like do things that purposely annoy someone, and I used to get really
Ooh.
annoyed at it. But I had to be like, he doesn't actually hate you. He's just trying to be annoying. So one time he like cut my hair a little bit, and I was like, I would normally been fuming, but since I like knew he was just not, because he's really impulsive. I guess what I'm trying to say, but he's still a nice guy.
Gotcha. I
And
would have
then
actually been furious if someone came up and cut my hair. I'm like, who are you?
and there was yeah. Well, he didn't come up and do it. He kind of was like, "You really need to line this up a little more." Then he cut it, and I was like, "Okay, you don't need to cut anymore. You gotta back off, dude." And he
Yeah.
was like, "Okay." And there was Daniel and Nathan and Riley, which is he's still one of the coolest people I've ever met in my life. Um, Legitimately. And fun fact about Riley, Riley has scoliosis or had scoliosis, and he has two poles in his back, to, like to
Oh dang.
subside from.
Mhm.
Evan also has scoliosis and has one pole in his back. Evan cannot lift half of what Riley can lift, and it's hilarious to watch Evan be like, "I can't move this because I have scoliosis," and then watch Riley push that 10 times as far as Evan could push it. So we called Riley the poster boy of scoliosis. At least that's what I called him. It was very
That's so
funny.
funny.
Yeah. So
See, he,
that's that.
oh wow. Oh, see, like I really should have done more like extracurricular stuff like that when I was in school. Like because I think it would have been such a blast, but I just never did. I don't know
Hmm.
why. Like because it would have been really cool to have like a group that I could like, oh yeah, like I have so many memories with these specific people. Like I have that with like a ton of different friends, but I don't know.
Like
I feel
me,
like it would be nice.
of course.
Yes, exactly. Our our many gaming escapades.
Right. Yes, you can call him that. Yeah.
Jeez.
And it's really funny. This is the last thing I swear. Um, our tech theater group went through like 5 different leaders or 3 different leaders ish. Four, whatever.
Ooh.
Okay, so we started out my freshman year. We had a nice teacher. Um,
Uh-huh.
the next, so she was around from my freshman year. Like halfway, maybe a quarter of the way through sophomore year, she left because not so yeah no yeah sophomore. She left because like the freshmen are super mean, which is just like obvious.
Oh.
So she would have
Mm-hmm.
like panic attacks, and it was really bad.
Oh.
Just in general. And
Yeah.
you met her actually at my graduation party.
Oh, she was yeah.
Yeah. Um. So there's
She
her,
was really cool. I liked her
and
a lot.
also in that time, I think actually Mr. Majors left during freshman year. He was the pack leader. He left freshman year, and then Mr. Jacobs came, who is currently the teacher for tech.
Mm-hmm.
And also the pack director. He's both. I think he's both. Mr. Whatever. After she left, we spent the rest of that year with Mr. Jacobs. Mr. Jacobs, phenomenal guy. He's really funny. Um, really friendly. Sometimes too friendly. Again, I'll get into that some other time if I want to. And it's not to say that he's like a bad person for being too friendly. It's just that there's like a certain things that happen during tech after school and stuff that like just made me dislike his character just a tiny bit. Not dislike, but
Yeah.
like it made me made me annoyed how he was so friendly, I guess. Um,
Oh.
but
Yeah.
not after him because he never left, and then junior year came around, and then another lady came in. I forgot her name. She had bipolar disorder, and she left before the first musical. And it
Oh
was
dang.
hectic because I was on sound for Elf, which was the musical we were doing.
Yeah.
Karen was on lights, I think, and we were supposed to be taught by her how to do our jobs. She never
Yeah.
taught us how to do our jobs. So
Dang.
2 weeks before the show, we don't know what we're doing, and Mr. Jacobs has to like teach us the basics, basically, No, not basically, literally teach us the basics of how to run these machines that could be
Yeah.
very finicky, especially the soundboard, within a week. And it was legitimately a trial by fire because it was like we have no time, and we
Yeah, you had
even
like no time to really
and
practice.
even worse, we had to like we. I remember when me and Karen were working in after school, and we were making these platforms, and it took like multiple hours to finish one because it was just tedious and annoying and very
Hmm.
finicky how you had to do it. And we finished one after like maybe 2 days of after school work. And I remember being like, okay, what do we do now? And she was like, make another one. And I was like, why? It's like, and I remember like, okay, we'll do it, whatever. And then I remember thinking to myself while making it, like, why are we making another one? Like, and what is that one get? What is the one we just made going to be used for? We never used it. We don't. I don't know why we made it. We it was half the things we made we didn't use. We had to make them within like the last few days, or not few days, like last few weeks between before the show started. It was absurd.
Hmm.
And so she legit, since she was fired because she wasn't doing her job. Because I think I don't think she was fired. I think she quit, but she was about to be fired because legit she wasn't doing her job and wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she also,
What world?
and what's most memorable about this whole thing is that one day she was really tired and angry at freshman class, which again is, or the beginner class, which is again understandable. They're very annoying. Um, but what I she brought in cookies and ice cream as a not bargaining, but as a bribe, I guess. So like, if you
Hmm.
guys stay quiet, I'll give you the ice cream. And at this at this point, I'm already like this lady is. I've lost. Like I don't care about this lady at all.
Just no respect left.
Yeah, really. Um, and I remember thinking to myself that this. I think this lady has bipolar disorder. Not that I'm a doctor. I didn't know for sure. I just guessed. And I remember
Hmm.
one. This is off topic, kind of, but I remember one day she was talking about her favorite actor is Carrie Fisher from Star Wars and other movies that she's in.
Hmm.
And she was like, I like her so much because she has bipolar disorder. And I was like, nailed it, nail in the head. I'm so good. Anyways, that's just tooting my horn. Anyways, I remember her being like, if you guys are quiet, I'll give you this. And Nathan was like, what? Out loud, he's like, what are you talking about? Or something like that. And then the kid next to him, he's an okay guy. He vaped in the bathrooms during class. He said he had to go to the bathroom, then was in there for like 40 minutes and vaped, and then came back. Anyways, and he didn't. I don't think he ever got in trouble for it, which is one of the. Anyways,
One of the big
um,
mysteries of school.
yeah. Anyways, and the guy was like, "Dude, shut up! I want the ice cream." and Nathan
Not
got
shut up, I want ice cream.
and Nathan got super upset. Like, okay, so Nathan he gets really upset. I wouldn't say he has a short fuse, but he has one. I will say. Um,
Hmm.
so Nathan got kicked out and sent to Mr. Jacobs' office. But Mr. Jacobs was there, but he wasn't teaching the class because she's not a teacher, by the way.
Oh.
She was just like the stage manager basically of something. She was like a assistant teacher.
Oh, that's
Anyways,
weird.
um, so yeah, I'm dying laughing right now in the back of the class. Um, and she's like, Jacob, do you want to lose your sound position? I'm like, I don't care. I like shrugged. I was like, okay, yeah, take it. I could care less. I haven't learned anything, you know?
Yeah.
Oh man. And that was
Jesus.
the worst. That was so fun. And yeah, and
That
that's
was the
when,
worst, but so fun.
and then after that, she left, and Mr. Jacobs just became a teacher. And then a new guy came in, but I wasn't really there long enough to get an impression. I didn't really like him, but that was just personal preference. There's nothing really wrong with him.
Yeah.
So, okay, we have to finish. We're at an hour and 20 minutes. I rambled. Sorry.
Hey man, it's okay, you know. It like sometimes we just really enjoy different topics.
Yeah. I mean, it's a thing I just don't really talk about because, I don't know. I just don't. Okay.
Weird.
I'm really hot. Well, thank you for listening to the TGOM podcast. This week's episode was not nearly as dark as the last two. Or
Yeah.
not dark, but as serious, I
One,
guess.
one was dark. The very next was very serious.
And this one was
Pretty light,
kind of
considering.
serious in some parts, but not. I mean, it's serious between us, I guess. Not really.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, yeah. It was a good one.
So Sundays, 1 p.m. When this will come out, you'll know because it came out. See you later. Goodbye.
Have a good one.